Welcome back to Top 5 today. Now, the government on Sunday announced the introduction of the product patent regime from the 1st of January. The third amendment to the Patent Act was made through an ordinance. The ordinance is to meet India's obligations on the WTO, for which the deadline ends on the 1st of January 2005.
Anyway.
But left parties and the opposition have raised concerns over the impact on drug prices. In fact, the amendment bill, which was to have been tabled during the winter session, was stalled for so long because the left and opposition parties wanted adequate safeguards to maintain price stability of life-saving medicines. But the government has come out with repeated assurances that there won't be any price rise. So what exactly is a patent? Now let's take a look at some patent facts to understand how it is obtained and who provides it. Now, a patent is basically a right or title given to an inventor to exclusively make, use or sell an invention for a specified period of time. A patent is given by a regulatory body called the Patents Office and is filed at the stage of discovery during the R&D process of a particular molecular entity whose therapeutic benefit is found. However, this benefit needs to be tested and approved for marketing, for which there's a separate regulatory authority in India, like they have the FDA in the US. In India, it's called the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, or CDSO. Now, the Indian Patents Act in 1970 introduced process patents in India. However, under the WTO agreement in 1995, all member countries had to introduce product patent regimes within a specified period of time. Now, India had 10 years, which ends on the 1st of January 2005. As of now, Indian companies simply reverse engine an established molecule launched globally and introduce it in the domestic market. But with the introduction of product patenting from January 2005, this will be stopped for molecules patented after 1995. Let's take a look at the difference between product and process patenting now. Now, process patent is given to a particular product, a particular process rather, of making a product and not the product itself. So in a way, it's given to the technology of making a product. Process protection, however, allows for more than one producer competition and restrains prices. A product patent is granted to a particular product. The protection of a product patent enables an absolute monopoly. It stifles competition and permits high pricing. Now, this means that no one other than the patent holder can make the product for a specified period of time. Product patenting was in fact abolished in India in 1972. Indian pharma companies have since then tightened their grip on the Indian market, raising their market share from 10% to 80%. But with the reintroduction of product patenting, there are obvious worries within the industry. But are they really worried? Well, maybe they're not, and we'll tell you why. Now, a patent regime could boost original drug research and provide the ideal setting for Indian pharma majors to become the base for R&D, toxicity and clinical trials, all of which could accelerate a reverse brain drain to India. There's also huge potential for Indian industry to collaborate with MNCs as manufacturing or marketing partners. Indian industry is also one of the most cost-effective manufacturers of generic drugs and will continue to thrive notwithstanding product patents. The global generic market is estimated to be worth about $36 billion. It's expected to grow further in 2005 due to the expiry of patents on drugs worth sales of $55 to $65 billion by 2005. Well, Harinder Sikka, the CEO of Nicholas Piramal, which is one of India's largest pharma companies, is here in the studio to answer some of the questions that have been raised by all of this. Harinder, welcome to Headlines today. First of all, now, let me, before I get to all this talk about the patent regime and what this means for Indian pharmaceutical companies and the market, I want to digress to something else. We know this whole tsunami tragedy that's unfolded, and some pharma companies have been trying to, we know Pfizer, for example, has been trying to send some drugs to the affected areas, but they're coming across certain logistical roadblocks. Can you give us an update on what's happening in that respect?
See, the moment this tragedy occurred, Nicholas was perhaps the first company to jump in and started checking what we can supply. We were aware that there's going to be a shortage of medicines. And shockingly, this happens in each scenario.
No, but are there certain logistical roadblocks that have started coming out, which are inhibiting your efforts?
Roadblocks in the sense that nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what drugs are required. Like for example, after 3 days, Tamil Nadu government is realizing they are short of tetanus. Tetanus should be the first thing on the road, in their go down, in their stocks. Okay. And if not, somebody should have advised them.
Basically, direction and coordination is lacking. Okay, let's turn to now what's at hand, the relevant issue about this patent regime coming into effect at the beginning of next month. Are Indian pharmaceutical companies prepared for this?
Let me, before that, this tsunami issue, just one line on that. There has to be a pre-planned, pre-set damage control system, an ops room. It has to be there. It is there in every state, in every country. We have to have that. We can't be running at last moment and have hundreds of thousands of people marooned here and there, and left doesn't know what the right is doing. This must happen, and it must happen by yesterday.
Okay. Coming back to the patent regime thing, are the pharmaceutical companies in India prepared for this?
I think we have more than 20,000 pharma companies, small and big, and for past many years, each company has been aware that this is happening. Few are preparing for themselves for this roadshow. Some realize that 90% of the drugs are off patent, so they will continue the same road track, and there's nothing is going to change for them. And for those companies which knew this is happening and was coming, they saw it coming, they prepared for themselves. At Nicholas, we realized and went into the acquisition mode of a research center. Hex had a research center at that time. We acquired that. We have now set up a bigger one.
Okay, Harinder, we've nearly run out of time. If I can just very briefly, just a few seconds left, what will it mean for the common man once the regime comes in? Will prices of medicines go up or down?
Competition is only going to ensure that the prices of majority drugs which are in the market is going to come down, but the quality is going to improve. Okay. Those who have been operating from one room kind of shandy operations, of course, they will have a stiff competition. They may have to shut down. But is good for the patient.
Okay, and of course R&D is expected to go up as well. So all in all, it sounds like a good thing for the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Absolutely. Thank you, Harinder Sikka, for joining us today.